The small village in Hampshire, a girl who grows up with a high sense of compassion in humanities and delicate writing, sitting in front of the table and expressing herself with words. Jane Austen uses her novel to form humanity between the words. Her clever observation of humans' pompous, hypocritical, and complicated emotions leads her later to grow compassion for one another and have a deeper understanding of people. Her novels cross around relationships, marriage, and money. She wrote a total of 6 novels, which are Sense and Sensibility, Pride and Prejudice, Mansfield Park, Emma, Northanger Abbey, Persuasion. After that, her declining health cannot support her from finishing the 7th novel, Sanditon. She grew up in the 18th century in England, when Europe was facing the end of the Napoleonic War and the beginning of the Industrial Revolution. The impact and reform were covered all over in their lifestyle, culture, economy, and society. Have you ever seen in some movies the actors were wearing heavy brocades and settings with copious lace trim and quilted on their dresses? Or putting elaborate wigs, tall feathers, and huge hats as a crown on their heads? This is one of the most significant features during the Regency era, the fancy fashionable clothing. Until the present date, there are still huge amounts of people admiring this style of clothing during this era. Another characteristic in their society is class. This often reflects in Jane Austen's novels. The nobles gather around a jar. I hope it doesn't make me too middle class. In the 18th century, society can be generally separated into 5 classes: the labor, freeholders, merchants, gentry, and nobility. The most notable knight in Austen's fiction may be Pride and Prejudice, Sir William Lucas, the general neighbor of the Bennets. Despite showing the social status in her novels, she never judged those characters only by their class and wealth. However, she offers a different perspective to look into, which is their moral land and personality. Taking money seriously seldom appeared in romance books because everything associated with money could be tacky and less romantic. However, Jane Austen did not avoid talking about this topic, just like she did not avoid illustrating people from different classes in her novels. In Pride and Prejudice, she said, Mr. Bingley has an income of £400 a year, while Mr. Darcy has twice more than that. Except feelings and emotions, this is an offensive topic to discuss. Jane Austen thought it was suitable and necessary to talk about money in marriage and in literature. In her novels, we can see Jane Austen's thought through her different characters, what they thought about socialization between people, what marriage means to them, and how their society was. The classic couple Jane Austen created will be Elizabeth and Mr. Darcy in Pride and Prejudice. Darcy's arrogance keeps him away from people, and Elizabeth's preconception prevents her from having more understanding. In her books, she illustrates the vivid personalities of each character, especially in the description of Mrs. Bennet and her 5 daughters. How her 2 younger sisters are obsessed with charming soldier men, and her youngest sister turns her nose up to their conversation, and showing off her piano skills in public. She often shows her irony through her characters. One particular sentence in Pride and Prejudice, "It is a truth universally acknowledged that a single man in possession of a good fortune must be in want of a wife," show the empty head that Mrs. Bennet had, and how society evaluates a person and how much they can take advantage of their marriage. Jane Austen raises the dividend in her books. In Sense and Sensibility, she said, I could not be happy with a man whose taste did not in every point coincide with my own. He must enter in all my feelings. The same books, the same music must charm us both. She conveys that in a relationship, the couple is supposed to balance each other and become the better of themselves. For example, in Pride and Prejudice, Mr. Darcy says to Elizabeth, "Your reproof, so well applied, I shall never forget." Elizabeth directly points out his mistakes. His manners can be improved, and with the great information and knowledge he got, Elizabeth can have received greater importance. Nevertheless, there's another couple in Pride and Prejudice, which are Charlotte Lucas and Mr. Colley. Before they got married, Mrs. Bennet urges that maybe one of her daughters can marry him to inherit all the property, but Elizabeth cannot bear with his stupidness, so rejects his proposal to her. Meanwhile, Charlotte agrees to marry Mr. Coley because she realized if she cannot find someone to settle down with, she will be nothing but a burden to her family. Although he is not the perfect one to get married to, he can still provide a comfortable life for her for the rest of her life. With her novels, the readers have a growing sense of empathy when reading those stories. While characters are facing a dilemma in their life, the reader can also think with them. Am I going to make the same decision? Why or why not? There is no answer to those questions. There is only about making plenty of decisions for their own life. Those stories make us walk into her world and be touched by those characters. When we go back to the real world, we can have more sympathy for one another. We can learn to appreciate one's value in more than one standard. Today's Herstory is close to the end. Thanks for listening.